The legendary life of Nicolas Flamel. Ladies and gentlemen, scholars and aficionados of alchemical history, welcome to an in-depth exploration of one of the most enigmatic figures of the Middle Ages, Nicolas Flamel. Renowned not only as a historical Parisian scribe, but also as a legendary alchemist, Flamel's name has become synonymous with the elusive philosopher's stone, a mythical substance said to transform base metals into gold and grant immortality. Today, we delve into the intricate tapestry of Flamel's life, separating documented facts from centuries-old legends and examining how his story has evolved to captivate minds well-versed in alchemical lore. Early life and career. Nicolas Flamel was born circa 1330 in Paris, the epicenter of intellectual and cultural activity during the 14th century. Paris at that time was a hub for scholars, theologians, and philosophers, fostering an environment ripe for intellectual pursuits. Flamel embarked on a career as a public scrivener, a profession of considerable prestige and necessity in an era when literacy rates were exceedingly low, estimated at less than 5% of the population. As a scrivener, Flamel's responsibilities extended beyond mere transcription. He drafted legal documents, contracts, and letters, often requiring a nuanced understanding of legal frameworks and an impeccable command of Latin and Old French. Flamel operated two shops strategically located in Paris to maximize accessibility to clients ranging from merchants to minor nobility. These establishments likely served as centers for intellectual exchange, where ideas on law, philosophy, and perhaps esoteric subjects were discussed among learned patrons. Flamel's expertise and reputation grew over the decades, positioning him as a respected and influential figure within Parisian society. Marriage to Parinel and philanthropy. In 1368, Flamel married Parinel, a woman of considerable wealth and social standing. Parinel had been widowed twice, inheriting substantial estates and assets from her previous marriages. Their union represented a consolidation of wealth and influence, enhancing their ability to undertake significant ventures. Together, Nicolas and Parinel extended their professional activities to include the operation of a school dedicated to teaching the art of writing and document preparation. This institution provided valuable education in literacy and clerical skills, empowering individuals in a society where such knowledge was a privileged asset. The curriculum likely encompassed instruction in calligraphy, legal terminologies, and perhaps rudimentary accounting. Beyond their educational endeavors, the Flamels were distinguished for their philanthropy. They financed the construction and embellishment of several churches, such as the Church of Saint Jacques La Boucherie. Records indicate donations amounting to substantial sums, evidence of their commitment to social and religious causes. Their contributions not only reflected personal piety, but also reinforced their standing within the community. Flamel's death and tombstone. Nicolas Flamel's longevity was extraordinary for the Middle Ages, as he lived into his 80s during a period when life expectancy was markedly shorter due to factors like the Black Death. In anticipation of his mortality, Flamel commissioned his own tombstone in 1410, a customary practice among affluent individuals seeking to convey their social status and religious devotion posthumously. The tombstone, intricately carved and symbolically rich, featured depictions of Jesus Christ accompanied by Saints Peter and Paul. These figures were not arbitrary. They signified Flamel's adherence to Christian doctrines and perhaps alluded to themes of sacrifice, faith, and church authority. The tombstone stood in the nave of the Church of Saint Jacques de la Boucherie, affirming his prominence within the ecclesiastical community. Flamel passed away on March 22, 1418. His last will and testament, dated November 22, 1416, provides critical insights into his financial status and priorities. The document detailed bequests to family members, charitable institutions, and funds allocated for masses and prayers, a reflection of medieval beliefs in the efficacy of intercessory rites for the soul's salvation. Contrary to later legends of immense wealth derived from alchemy, his estate appeared consistent with that of a successful but not extraordinarily affluent bourgeois professional. Flamel's house in Paris. An enduring relic of Flamel's life is his house at 51 Rue de Montmorency, constructed in 1407. As the oldest stone house in Paris, it stands as a testament to medieval architecture and urban residential design. The structure is characterized by its robust stone construction, narrow windows, and Gothic detailing, a departure from the timber-framed houses common during the period. An inscription on the facade invites a closer examination. Nous, laboureurs et habitants de la porche de cette maison bâtie en 1407, sommes tenus, chacun par an, dire 5 Pater Noster et 5 Ave Maria, priant Dieu que sa grâce pardonne aux pauvres pécheurs trépassés. This plea underscores the Flamel's devout Catholicism and concern for the souls of the deceased, a prevalent theme in medieval spirituality focused on penance and intercession. Today, the house is recognized as a historical monument protected under French heritage laws. Its preservation allows for continued study of medieval urban living conditions and architectural practices. In contemporary times, the ground floor has been repurposed, most recently housing a restaurant that merges historical ambiance with modern culinary experiences, thereby sustaining the building's relevance and accessibility. Emergence of the Alchemist legend. The posthumous transformation of Nicolas Flamel from a reputable scribe to a legendary alchemist commenced in the early 17th century. The publication of Livre des Figures Hiéroglyphiques in 1612, attributed to Flamel, catalyzed this metamorphosis. The text professed to reveal esoteric knowledge pertaining to alchemical processes and the pursuit of the philosopher's stone. This work, alongside others such as Le Sommaire philosophique, portrayed Flamel as having unlocked secrets of transmutation and immortality. Central to these accounts was the narrative of him deciphering a mysterious book authored by Abraham the Jew, a supposed alchemical treatise filled with cryptic symbols and arcane knowledge. The socio-cultural context of the 17th century, marked by a resurgence of interest in Hermeticism, mysticism, and alchemy, provided fertile ground for the propagation of such legends. The 30 Years' War, 1608 to 1648, and the accompanying turmoil led many to seek solace and answers in esoteric traditions. Flamel's legend embodied the archetype of the adept who achieves perfection through knowledge, a tantalizing prospect for scholars and alchemists of the era. The Book of Abraham the Jew and the Philosopher's Stone. According to the legendary accounts, in 1357, Nicolas Flamel acquired a peculiar manuscript, a 21-page volume bound in worked brass, enigmatic in its contents and origin. The acquisition purportedly cost 2 florins, a non-trivial sum, indicating the perceived value of the tome. The manuscript was said to be filled with strange arcane symbols, diagrams, and texts in an unknown language. Driven by intellectual curiosity and perhaps a clandestine desire for esoteric wisdom, Flamel devoted years to studying the book. Unable to decipher it, he embarked on a pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela, a journey that held both religious and practical significance. En route, he encountered a Jewish converso scholar, an individual who had converted from Judaism to Christianity, often under duress during periods of persecution. This scholar reportedly recognized the text as a copy of the Book of Abraham the Jew, a compendium of alchemical knowledge rooted in ancient traditions. With the scholar's assistance, Flamel began to unravel the complexities of the manuscript, revealing methods for achieving chrysopoeia, the transmutation of base metals into noble ones. Upon returning to Paris, Flamel and Perronel implemented the techniques described in the text. Allegedly, in 1382, they succeeded in transmuting mercury into silver, and subsequently into gold of exceptional purity. The wealth derived from these activities was clandestinely funneled into charitable works, maintaining a facade of modest means. While captivating, this narrative lacks corroboration from contemporary sources. No records from the period attest to Flamel engaging in alchemical practices or possessing extraordinary wealth beyond that of a prosperous middle-class professional. Criticism and debunking of the legend. The authenticity of Flamel's alchemical legacy faced critical examination starting in the 18th century. Etienne Villen's 1761 publication meticulously dissected the historical records, exposing inconsistencies and anachronisms in the legendary accounts. Villen posited that the alchemical texts attributed to Flamel were in fact pseudepigrapha, writings falsely ascribed to an author to lend them credibility. Villain identified Pierre Arnauld de la Chevalerie, who wrote under the pseudonym Arrhenius Orandus, as a potential originator of the Flamel mythos. Chevalerie's works, aimed at an audience eager for alchemical knowledge, may have retroactively grafted Flamel's reputable identity onto fabricated narratives to enhance their appeal. Historians and researchers concur that no contemporaneous evidence associates Flamel with alchemy. The absence of such records is significant given the meticulous documentation typical of legal and commercial transactions in medieval Paris. Moreover, Flamel's will and tax records do not reflect the accumulation of wealth one might expect from successful alchemical transmutation. Influence on alchemy and historical figures. Despite questions surrounding the veracity of his alchemical pursuits, Nicolas Flamel's legend exerted a profound influence on subsequent generations engaged in the study of alchemy and the occult. Sir Isaac Newton, whose interests encompassed alchemical experimentation alongside his groundbreaking work in physics and mathematics, referenced Flamel in his private notebooks. Newton's annotations on the caduceus, the dragons of Flamel, indicate an engagement with symbolic alchemical imagery associated with transformation and duality. Flamel's legendary achievements became emblematic within the esoteric traditions, serving as both inspiration and a symbolic touchstone for those seeking the philosopher's stone. His supposed mastery of the great work, magnum opus, represented the alchemist's ultimate goal of achieving not only material transmutation, but also spiritual perfection. The mythos surrounding Flamel contributed to the perpetuation of alchemy as a serious intellectual pursuit well into the early modern period. Flamel in literature and arts. The cultural permeation of Nicolas Flamel's legend extended into literature and the arts, reflecting broader societal fascinations with the mystical and the unknown. Victor Hugo's Notre Dame de Paris subtly incorporates Flamel's influence through the character of Claude Frollo. Frollo's obsession with alchemy and the pursuit of forbidden knowledge mirrors the enigmatic allure attributed to Flamel, serving as a narrative device to explore themes of knowledge, power, and downfall. Composer Erik Satie, active in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, drew inspiration from esoteric and mystical sources, including the legends of Flamel. Satie's explorations into gnosis and his alignment with artistic movements that embraced mysticism illustrate Flamel's enduring impact on creative expression. Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma, a comprehensive treatise on Freemasonry published in 1871, references Flamel in discussions of alchemical symbolism and the quest for enlightenment. Pike examines the allegorical significance of alchemical processes as metaphors for moral and spiritual development within Masonic philosophy, positioning Flamel as a symbolic figure within this framework. Modern depictions in popular culture. In the 20th and 21st centuries, Nicolas Flamel's legend experienced a renaissance through inclusion in various forms of popular culture. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone reintroduced Flamel to a global audience, portraying him as the creator of the Philosopher's Stone, a critical element within the story's magical universe. This depiction, while fictional, drew upon the historical legend and revitalized interest in Flamel's story among new generations. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald expanded upon this portrayal, featuring Flamel as an ageless, sagacious figure residing in Paris, a nod to his historical roots. His character served as a connective element within the broader narrative, emphasizing themes of legacy and the perennial quest for knowledge. Other media have similarly incorporated Flamel's legend. In Fullmetal Alchemist, a Japanese manga and anime series, alchemical themes are central, and while Flamel is not a direct character, the symbolic use of alchemical motifs reflects the influence of such historical legends. The 2014 film As Above, So Below utilizes the setting of the Parisian catacombs and references to Flamel as part of its suspenseful narrative, intertwining historical mythology with contemporary storytelling. Video games like Assassin's Creed Unity integrate Flamel's works into their plotlines, allowing players to interact with his legend in immersive, interactive environments. These modern depictions underscore the adaptability and enduring appeal of Flamel's story, bridging historical myth with present-day entertainment. Nicolas Flamel's journey from a historical figure to a legendary alchemist exemplifies the complex interplay between factual record and myth-making. His documented life as a successful scrivener, educator, and philanthropist established a foundation upon which legends could be constructed. The subsequent transformation of his narrative reflects societal desires to explore themes of immortality, transformation, and the pursuit of forbidden knowledge. For experts in the field, Flamel's case presents a fascinating study in historiography, myth-making, and the transmission of esoteric traditions. It highlights the importance of critical examination of sources, understanding the historical contexts that give rise to legends, and recognizing the cultural influences that perpetuate and evolve such stories. The legend of Nicolas Flamel continues to captivate, serving as a touchstone in discussions about alchemy, mysticism, and the human quest to transcend limitations. While the historical Flamel may not have achieved the miraculous feats attributed to him, his enduring presence in cultural and intellectual discourse attests to the power of myth and its ability to shape our understanding of the past.